1. The glory of God and the greatness of preaching. Chapter 1. Preaching above all. Question. What is God's chief end in preaching? Answer. God's chief end in preaching is to glorify His name. The Lord passed before him and proclaimed, the Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. Exodus chapter 34, verse 6. Above everything else, those of us who are called to preach need to know that God is love. 1 John chapter 4, verse 8. The Church's great news to a dying world is that there is a living God whose love for His creation is inexhaustible. Could we ever love and serve anyone else before Him? Without this conviction, our preaching will shrivel and die, and we preachers will soon go the same way. With it, we can believe and do all things. The Church has no other and no better message. This is her great declaration. God is love is actually not the same as God is loving or God shows love, though both of these are, of course, true. A God who is loving might be a God who decides to be loving only at times, but no more. The same would be true of a God who shows love. The Apostle John means neither. What he is saying in 1 John chapter 4, verse 8 is far bigger and far more exciting. God loves and shows that love because He is love. Love is of God's essence. And so the source of all reality is a God of ardent, consuming, and delighting love. This is who He is. Can we speak too much of God's love, though? We all know how the love of God has been pitted against the other divine attributes as if it somehow neutralizes them. On the one side, there are those who feel that the doctrine of God's love, unless given a myriad of qualifications, might lead to theological liberalism. On the other, the voices insisting that love wins effectively state that everything else loses. God's justice, holiness, and sovereignty have all been made to bow to love, as if God's love somehow triumphs over them. Thankfully, such views are wrong. God's love neither conquers nor is crushed by the other attributes. Each exists maximally in the Godhead, for His glory and our good. Let God be a lover and every man a liar. God's attributes are never to be viewed as in some sort of tension with each other. We are never in danger of seeing God as being, for example, too sovereign, any more than we might see Him as being too merciful or too holy. That is not biblical thinking. God is holy, merciful, sovereign, and loving. He is each one utterly and completely. He is all of His attributes in their fullest expression, all at the same time. Our preaching about God, as we explore one of His attributes, never needs qualifying or rebalancing by talking about another attribute. Preaching is declaring all that God is. And God is a preacher. He declares Himself the loving Lord. He commanded creation into existence and upholds it all by His word. His word governs the planets, and He speaks to our consciences. In His book, the Bible, He shows us what He is like and how we should live. He preaches, in other words. He preaches all the time. God speaks many words, but He has only one ultimate purpose in the world. As our Catechism says, God's chief end in preaching is to glorify His name. He draws people to discover delight in His Son, Jesus Christ. That is the delight the Father has. He says of His Son, "Behold my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen, in whom my soul delights. I have put my Spirit upon him. He will bring forth justice to the nations." Isaiah chapter 42, verse 1.